How can we be the light of the world? Welcome to this, your daily 180 Bible study. We're looking at Matthew chapter 5, verse 14 beginning. There Jesus says that we are the light of the world. Well, who are the we? Well, it's the people who are described in verses 3 and following. We call them the Beatitudes. These are characteristics of a citizen of the kingdom. And there is a process that we go through, and that process involves pain. I'll explain that in just a moment. And then we achieve what we're aiming for. There is a product at the end, and that product is salt and light. We're focusing on the idea of being light. Well, let's talk a little bit about the process. In Matthew chapter 5 and verse 3, Jesus said, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven." And there, when he talks about poor in spirit, he's talking about people who have reached the point that they're willing to renounce themselves. It's not just something that happens casually. This word poor has to do with one who is poor by choice. They realize that in their relationship with God, they are beggars. They're dependent upon the goodness of God Almighty. It's not to say that we're not obedient. It's not to say that we don't have to trust and obey. But ultimately, it doesn't matter what we do. If God doesn't do what He said He would do, it's all in vain. Have you reached that point? You know, unfortunately, there is this tendency that people think of themselves as spiritual tycoons. There might have been a point in their life when they were brought so low, and they realized how much they needed God, and then things began to work out, and God lifted them up, and then all of a sudden they forget God, and they think they can make it on their own. And then I want you to notice the next one. Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. What is it that really grieves you? Are you grieved by the things that are ungodly and wicked? Are you grieved by innocent people being hurt? That's what grieves God, and whatever grieves God should grieve us. There's a blessing attached to self-renunciation. There's a blessing attached to being concerned about the same things that God Almighty is concerned about. And ultimately, this is the road that leads to us being the light of the world. It all begins with true Christ-like character. Join us again tomorrow for your daily 180.